Hello friends, welcome back to Easy English T20. I'm your host रियाज मजीद. पहले दोस्तों आज हम एक नया टॉपिक कर रहे हैं एंड टॉपिक का नाम है प्रेजेंट सिंपल दैट इज समटाइम्स रेफर्ड टू एज प्रेजेंट इंडेफिनिट. How to use it? What is it a structure? It's very simple, it's very plain. See, it's the basic thing that we are going to do. As I have told you already, tense is all about verb. So what are we supposed to learn when it comes to the structure of present simple? The first thing that we are going to learn is the structure. I said it's all about verb. Which verb form to use? Very simple. We have to use the first form of the verb. And in case you need an auxiliary, in case you need a helping verb, it's either do or does. Do or does and first form of the verb. You need the auxiliaries especially when you are making interrogative sentences, जब आप question पूछते हैं, and in case of negative sentences, when your response is negative, when you mean to say no. So you may need do or does, and then first form of the verb is constant in case of present simple, especially when we are talking about the active voice. So dear friends, remember that present simple, using present simple means using first form of the verb, the root form, the basic form. As I have already told you, that verb has 4 forms. And it is these 4 forms and the auxiliaries, the helping verbs, that decide which tense is used, that tell us which tense is this or which tense is that, or which verb form to use and which helping verb auxiliary to use when we are intend to use a particular tense. So as I said, there are 4 forms of the verb, and when you talk about present simple, we're going to use the first form, the root form, the basic form of the verb, and it is supported by helping verbs, auxiliaries like do and does. Now a simple question that may pop up in someone's mind: when to use do and when to use does? Do goes simply with I, we, you, they, and all plural nouns. I repeat, do goes with I, you, we, they, and all plural nouns. And then does. Does goes with third person singular. Third person singular, which means he, she, it, and all singular nouns. Does goes with he, she, it, and all singular nouns. That is the structural part. The structure of present simple when we have to make sentences using present simple. I repeat, you use do or does, and then root form, the first form, the original form of the verb. Do or does and verb, first form of verb in case of interrogative, negative, or interrogative, negative sentences. And when it comes to affirmative sentences, we usually use first form of the verb without any helping verb. Yes, one thing happens there as well, that when you are using present simple for third person singular, like he, she, it, and all singular nouns, when you are using present simple for these pronouns, you add s or es. You add s or es to the root form of the verb. For example, I say, I play, but he plays. I go, she goes. I walk, it walks. So what you do is you either add s or you add es when you are using present simple for third person singular. So that's the structural part. You remember do, you remember does, you remember first form of the verb, and you remember adding s or es to the first form of the verb when you are using it for affirmative sentences. That's the structural point. I hope you're clear with the structural point. I repeat it once more emphatically. When you use present simple, it means you're using first form of the verb And the auxiliaries that you use in case of present simple is do or does. And you add s or es to the first form of the verb when you're using it for third person singular, he, she, it, and all singular nouns for affirmative purposes. That's the structural part. Now the question, why do we use present simple and where exactly? What situations? Talking about the uses of present simple, it has some limited uses. The first one is that we use it to talk about routines, permanent routines, things that we do as a matter of routine, as a matter of permanent routine. For example, someone asks you, where do you live? You say, I live in Kashmir. Where does your father work? He works in a bank. Where does Jack live? Jack lives in Delhi. Who helps you? My friends help me. Where do you study? I study at college. So, something that you do on daily basis, on permanent basis. You go to college, you go there for a long period of time. You live somewhere and you live there permanently. Your father, your brother, or your friend works in some sort of department. He works there for a pretty long time. That becomes a permanent routine for him. So when you talk about these permanent routines, for example, I say, Jack works in a school. John lives in Mumbai. My friend lives in Delhi. Things like that. I eat food every day. I eat rice. So things that you do permanently as a permanent routine. Now, this permanent routine does not mean that things that you do daily only. There are other things, routines like, say for example, I say, I go to Delhi once a year. I go to Delhi twice a year. My friends visit me twice a year. I go to the theater once a week. I go to the library very often. So you talk about these routines, these are permanent routines. When you talk about your routines or the routines that people follow, you use present simple. That's the first use of it. You talk about these permanent routines. The next one is we use it to talk about our day-to-day habits and tendencies. Day-to-day habits. Like, I wake up early in the morning. It's my habit. Javed sleeps late. Javed sleeps late. It's his habit. He sleeps late. He gets up very late in the morning. I drink a glass of milk every night. I play volleyball every day. I love to watch TV every day. I read comics. So these sentences actually express my habits, my day-to-day habits. So when you talk about your day-to-day habits, you use present simple. And to use present simple means, using present simple means using do or does, or first form of the verb, the root form of the verb. And in case it's for the affirmative purpose, for third person singular, you add s or es to it. Now, these are two uses I talked about. I talked about permanent routines, and then I talked about day-to-day habits. We also use it sometimes to talk about the tendencies, general tendencies. We talk, for example, I say, animals fear fire. Animals fear fire. Children like candies. Women like jewelry. So these are tendencies. When you talk about such tendencies, you use present simple. We use present simple also to talk about universal truths and general beliefs. General belief means something in which majority of the people believe. For example, honesty is the best policy. This is something in which majority of the people believe. Hard work pays in the long run. Majority of the people believe in it that hard work pays in the long run. Or for example, God is one. Majority of the people believe that God is one. God is great. It's a general belief in which majority of the people believe. And when we talk about general beliefs, you use present simple. Then I said universal truths. Universal truth. What does universal truth mean? In the first place, we should understand what is universal truth. Universal truth means something that does not change with the change in time and place. Things that do not change with the change in time and place. For example, I say, honey is sweet. Snow is white. So it is, it was, and it will be. I say, for example, the earth revolves around the sun. It's been there, it will be always there. So it's not going to change. The time and the place does not affect these things. When you talk about universal truths, you use present simple. So these are the 4 uses of present simple. These are the 4 situations. There are some other uses as well, but these are for advanced learners, and these are some professional specific uses. We'll be talking about these things sometime later. But presently, I would like you to remember these 4. The first one is the permanent routine. The second one is day-to-day habits. The third one is general belief. And then there is this universal truth and the tendencies. I was saying that present simple का क्या मतलब है? Finally, to conclude, to just remind you again, present simple का मतलब है verb की first form use करना. और अगर हमें helping verb की जरूरत पड़ती है, हमें use करना है do और does and first form of the verb. And in case अगर आप इसे third person singular के लिए इस्तेमाल करते हैं affirmative में, थर्ड पर्सन सिंगुलर ही, शी, इट और सिंगुलर नाउन्स के लिए, उस वक्त आप अफर्मेटिव सेंटेंसेस में वर्ब की फर्स्ट फॉर्म के साथ एस या ईएस ऐड करते हैं. दोस्तों, आई होप कि आपको ये समझ आ गया होगा. इट्स नॉट दैट डिफिकल्ट, डज नॉट रिक्वायर एनी रॉकेट साइंस. इट्स सो सिंपल. फर्स्ट फॉर्म ऑफ वर्ब डू एंड डज एंड एडिंग एस एंड ईएस इन केस फॉर थर्ड पर्सन सिंगुलर. लेकिन बहुत जल्दी, तब तक आप इसको अच्छे से देखिए और समझिए, और इट्स वेरी इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड. See you in the next video. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time. Bye bye.